Josh Brolin just dropped a mixed update about Sicario 3, 6 years after Day of the Soldado. It's got us thinking, is it even possible for Denis Villeneuve to come back for Sicario 3? Should he direct it? Or are there other directors who could take the reins? We've got all the scoop on what's happening with the upcoming Sicario 3. So, let's jump right in. Let's kick things off with the latest on Sicario 3, which just got a mixed update from Josh Brolin about its status. The original Sicario came out in 2015, directed by Denis Villeneuve and written by Taylor Sheridan. It follows FBI agent Kate Macer, played by Emily Blunt, as she joins a government task force operating outside the law along the U.S. Mexico border. The film was a huge hit and got a sequel, Sicario Day of the Soldado, in 2018. Ever since, fans have been buzzing about a third installment, but nothing has materialized until now. In a recent chat with The Playlist, Brolin, who reprises his role as CIA officer Matt Graver in both films, gave an update on the much-anticipated Sicario 3. He mentioned that the project is closer, but the situation is a bit hazy regarding Taylor Sheridan's involvement, and Christopher McQuarrie, who directed the latest Mission Impossible movies, has stepped back from the project. Here's what Brolin had to say. "We're closer. Yes, Molly Smith, who's a great friend and one of the producers over at Black Label, reacted to something I said about it never happening, which I appreciated. They're very focused on making it happen, but they won't proceed until there's a story that's compelling enough to justify the budget. Chris was involved for a while, but he's not anymore. And as for Sheridan, I know him well, but I'm not sure if he's on board or not." Sicario 3 has officially been confirmed by producer Trent Luckinbill, but it appears to be stuck in development hell with no release date in sight. Despite the delays, Josh Brolin has remained optimistic about the third installment. In a previous interview with The Hollywood Reporter, he mentioned that Taylor Sheridan has already completed the screenplay, emphasizing that the project is very much at the forefront of all of our minds. Brolin added, "It's been written and we think it deserves a third one." Luckinbill has even hinted at the potential for Denis Villeneuve to return as director, sparking some excitement among fans who appreciate his unique vision for the franchise. However, until the production can move past its current hurdles, the future of Sicario 3 remains uncertain. Fans are eager for updates, hoping that the combination of a solid script and the original cast will come together to make this long-awaited sequel a reality. Sicario 3 should definitely happen, and having Denis Villeneuve at the helm would be the best move for the franchise. His recent work, especially with Dune Part 2, showcases him as one of the most talented and sought-after filmmakers in the industry today. The difference in quality between the first Sicario and its sequel, Day of the Soldado, highlights how much Villeneuve elevates the material. While the original film boasts an impressive 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, the sequel drops significantly to just 62%. This disparity is particularly telling since both films share the same talented writer, Taylor Sheridan. Bringing Villeneuve back for Sicario 3 could provide the trilogy with the perfect closure it deserves. Given his expertise and vision, he could infuse the project with a cinematic flair that would make for an unforgettable ending to the crime series. Furthermore, Villeneuve is no stranger to sequels. He knows how to build upon existing narratives while introducing fresh perspectives. Villeneuve has been deeply involved with Dune as its writer, director, and producer, so he could take a slight step back for Sicario 3, allowing Sheridan to share the creative pressure. This collaboration could rejuvenate the series, helping it regain its footing and potentially setting the stage for more stories in the future if that's the goal. Ultimately, having Villeneuve on board would not only elevate the storytelling, but also ensure that the film resonates with both critics and audiences, making a compelling case for why Sicario 3 should come to fruition under his direction. That said, it seems increasingly unlikely that Denis Villeneuve will be able to direct Sicario 3. In a perfect world, he'd have the freedom to tackle every project he desires, but time is a limited resource, and Villeneuve is already juggling multiple commitments. He's hard at work on Dune 3, a film focused on nuclear war, and he's also attached to a historical epic remake of Cleopatra. At 56, the acclaimed director has a packed schedule, making it seem improbable that he could squeeze in another Sicario installment, especially if there are plans to release it in the next few years. However, the film industry is often unpredictable. If delays continue to push back other projects, it's not out of the question that Villeneuve could eventually find a window to return to Sicario. But for now, the reality is that his focus on high-profile projects leaves little room for the gritty crime saga. Given his current workload, fans may need to manage their expectations when it comes to his involvement in Sicario 3. While losing Denis Villeneuve as the director for Sicario 3 is a significant blow, there are still some exciting filmmakers who could deliver a stellar third installment in the thriller franchise. Christopher McQuarrie was previously linked to Sicario 3, working alongside Taylor Sheridan before moving on. His work on the recent Mission Impossible films has showcased his knack for intensity, making him a compelling choice, though it's a bit surprising that a director of his caliber was even considered. If the producers aim for a big-name director, David Fincher would be a top contender. Known for his stylish approach and ability to crank up the tension in films like Seven and The Killer, Fincher could create a gripping atmosphere that resonates with the franchise's dark theme. Another exciting option could be Oscar winner Steve McQueen, especially after the success of his star-studded heist film Widows in 2018. Adding more glimmer of hope for Sicario 3, Day of the Soldado star Isabela Moner has expressed her willingness to return for a potential third installment. In a recent interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Moner shared her enthusiasm about reprising her role, though she noted that there aren't any solid plans in place yet. Reflecting on her experience filming Sicario Day of the Soldado, she had nothing but positive things to say. Moner said, "Absolutely, I would be very open to that. We spoke about it, and obviously things change, but I think we talked about Isabel Reyes going into the witness protection program. This connection is particularly interesting as her character's arc involves CIA officer Matt Graver, played by Josh Brolin, defying orders to bring her to the U.S. for protection." She continued, "I don't know how she would be involved in another Sicario storyline unless they went out of their way to make that happen, but of course, I would love to be a part of Sicario 3. Soldado is still to date one of my favorite movies I've ever done, and it was one of the most unique experiences I've ever had. It was insane." Her enthusiasm suggests that if the stars align and the right story emerges, there's a possibility for her character to make a return. With Moner's eagerness and the ongoing discussions about Sicario 3, fans can hold on to hope that the project might still come together in a meaningful way. As for the story of the next installment, the working title for Sicario 3 is Sicario Capos, which translates to bosses. This title suggests that Matt Graver and Alejandro Gillick will likely be taking on the leaders of the Mexican drug cartel, bringing the stakes to a new level. The plot may also explore Matt's potential removal from his CIA position due to his defiance of orders in Sicario Day of the Soldado. This could create a tension-filled dynamic as he navigates the fallout from his actions. If Emily Blunt returns as Kate Macer, the story might delve into her efforts to expose Matt and Alejandro for their illegal activities and attempts to exert control over the drug trade. This conflict could set the stage for a gripping narrative, blending personal and professional stakes as Kate confronts the dark side of their operations. With the possibility of power struggles and moral dilemmas, Sicario Capos could provide a thrilling continuation of the series that keeps audiences on the edge of their seats. And that's that for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.